lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Patreon, crypto and PayPal link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the debate forum, then go to nathanoakley.com so you can join in with the Flat Earth Debate there. In this instance, this will be a closed show as we have Jazzaconda and Musicians for Truth, otherwise known as Jason, joining us for a one-on-one debate. So I will actually play moderator in this instance, and it will be hopefully the first of many instances with that occurrence. So I'm going to say first and foremost a warm hello to our first guest who has joined us already, which is Jason, or Musicians for Truth. So how are you doing, Jason?
Wonderful, Nathan. Thank you very much for having me. It's a quick notice. I was literally just watching your show as usual, keeping up with the Flat Earth Debate, you know, and Jazz, is a gentleman from Australia who claims to be a helicopter pilot, I believe, says he has some kind of evidence to put forward towards the gas pressure next to a vacuum predicament, right? Impossibility, the way I see it. But so I was kind of calling him out in your chat, like I would any Globie that I think is putting forth lies. And I see no substance to what he has yet. He hasn't said anything in the chat yet, which has even piqued my curiosity whatsoever, or anybody's. And once again, they come with just handfuls of nothing. So I'm here to just hear what he has to say and provide practical applied science point of view, reality's point of view, what we can actually demonstrate point of view. So thanks for having me, Nathan. Pleasure to be here. We'll see if Jazz even shows up. He called me out in the chat and was ready and ready to do it right now. He's got time right now. If we do it right now, I got my shit together here, pardon my French, to do this, right? Just real quick. And I'm actually under the weather right now. I'm feeling quite sick. So I'm willing to do this really under any circumstances. Honestly, Nathan, you could put Neil deGrasse Tyson in front of me. I'm willing to debate anybody on this. And that's how firmly I think flat earthers stand on the evidence that we have been able to acquire over the last few years. So I'm quite proud to call myself a flat earther. I've got no problem saying I'm a flat earther. And I'll tell everybody I meet, I really don't care. I see myself as living in what I see now as like a profoundly sick society that's been twisted by lies and deception. I know, Nathan, you're not a conspiracy theorist and you're not like that. And I understand. I'm not trying to come or sound like a conspiracy theorist. The angle that I really come from is that I find it very discouraging that children are taught lies and healer-centric lies, and that they have assumed this whole model for us to live on based on false premises, assuming the outcome, begging the question. The games they play, Nathan. We all know the games now. And so I'm here to call that stuff out. I want to see humanity healed. I really see sickness. When I look around, I see zombies walking around, people removed from the environment, desensitized from everything around them, pretty much, this matrix around us. So, this is why I do what I do and talk about the things I talk about. Cheers.
The email address that he put in the chat when he was saying, just send me the link, and then he put an email in.
Yeah.
It's come back failed and sent. So that's obviously not his email address.
Shocker.
So I've asked him to email me. He was all keen, full of bravado, and I called his bluff and said, okay, I'll moderate it. You won't have to face me, Jazz. You're not going to have me intervening and helping. I'll moderate. In other words, potentially I could be shutting up Jason here. I'm sure he's very, very polite, but where are you? What's going on? You literally said if you set it up immediately, I've got 20 minutes. That was about 6 minutes ago. I'm pretty sharp. I can get this stuff on the road pretty quickly. So where is he?
I'm just going to bring up your chat.
Well, so at the moment, I've got a replay of an old show. Hello, Monster.
Yes.
That's playing out on the second channel. But that was where he was full of bravado. Now vanished. We shall see. Well, what I might do, Jason, if it's okay with you, is I'll give him 5 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on this chat. See if he does. There he is, waiting for the email. What are you talking about, Jazz? We're live. He's in the chat saying I'm waiting for the email.
No,
he's definitely not sent me an email. So I've had your email because I did put my email address in, and you courteously just sent me an email so I could easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's come on, Jazz, just send us the email. I'll reply to it with this link. It's not going to be a public show. I'm glad this has happened regardless of whether or not he joins, because it's hard to explain to somebody when you're running a show that's like the one that runs currently with the public link available to all, and it can be a great debate, it can be a complete shit show, but this is different. So this would be, you know, what I've done prior to the Flat Earth debate, which was to say I've moderated other debates. So when there's been two parties that want to argue the toss on either side, I can be, in fact, in my experience of doing it, I had to moderate the Flat Earthers more than the Globeheads in many of the instances where I was moderator. But obviously people don't, you know, see me in that seat taking part on the other side of the debate, i.e. being the Flat Earther in the chair, arguing with whichever Globehead comes in on whatever day. But that won't be this. But it's a good advert. In other words, yeah, Jazz might not turn up, typical coward Globehead, full of bravado, full of shit. So there he is in the chat saying, Musicians for Truth, you're right. What were you worried about? What were you right about? That he wouldn't come.
What are you worried about?
He says
I don't know. He's really just, he's kind of trolling us, honestly, Nathan. Like, I've talked to him before. I've already debated him once before, and totally just kind of wrecked his world on a slightly different subject on Poncho Pete's channel one night. He got on, and you know, I opened his eyes to many things, you know, how reality really is, or made him look at shit. And he had no argument then, and he has no argument now, I bet.
I don't doubt it.
You know,
it's bluff and bluster, but as I say, it's a benefit. It's of benefit to me because I get to advertise the fact that I'm potentially doing this for others. So I hope somebody watches this stream, Flat Earther, hopefully, obviously I am still biased, and says, right, so there is a platform with a moderator where I can have a one-to-one debate. I don't have to go on to the equivalent, equally biased Globehead version where they claim to have a moderator or two, and it'll be a fair one-to-one debate. Now, that time will tell how moderate I am, but I would like to assume I can do a good job of actually moderating. In other words, not sticking my two pennyworth in if you're having your ass handed to you, which I doubt for any second that you would. Jason, I know you. I know you can debate. So that's why Jazz hasn't turned up, and this just serves to demonstrate the kind of cowardice that we deal with. Bravado in the chat is just that. So he said he was ready. You said you were ready. I got my stuff together. Here we are, waiting for him. He's not here. But anybody watching, if you
we did
to
our
say,
part. You know, we do what we can.
Yeah, exactly. Musicians for Truth. No wonder this debate was never going to happen. What? Because you wouldn't turn up? Jazz.
Okay, he just put it... Okay, we are...
baiting you, isn't he? As I say, I'll give him another 60 seconds and then this link will go out to the public and it will become a public debate if you want to toddle off at that point because you've just made your point, or you want to stay. That's up to you, Jason. Like I say, I'll give him another 60 seconds.
I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever you think, I'm fine. Yeah, we give it another... Yeah, a little bit. I just told him again, we're sitting here waiting.
It's one of those, I don't mind a bit of dead air, just in case Jazz does come. I don't want to post the link to people in Skype and then ultimately the public for them to troll you and him trying to have a good debate if he just changes his mind and decides not to be a coward and do as he's promised. But Jazz has been on. He's not a chat troll. Jazz has been on the show. In fact, he's on the show he's listening to, which is why he's presumably full of bravado. Old show where a lot of logical fallacies slip through the net. I'm in the chat going, That's a begging the question fallacy. That's a formal logical fallacy. That's whatever fallacy that they're using for that particular moment. It's like none of this would get through now. But as I say,
consensus or appeal to authority, or it's just a nonstop.
Yeah, burden of proof
it's really hilarious. You can see right through it after a few years now, Nathan. It's quite funny now.
I'll just ask him from the chat. So this is in Nathan Oakley channel. Are you joining Jazz or not? Question mark. If he gives me a what's the word? Vague answer, I'll stick the link out to people in Skype.
Yeah.
Hopefully get a panel together and then I'll stick it out to the public. Are you joining Jazz or not? We'll see. Yeah, like I say, great advert for me. If you are a flat earther and you are currently in the exact same position as Jason was, but only minutes earlier, which is to say you've got some globehead that's saying, I'd debate you anytime. Well, you can offer them this platform, and I will, at a moment's notice, drop what I'm doing and start a debate there and then. That's exactly what it took. 5 minutes, right?
He's saying, yes, mate, I have no link.
Well, you haven't emailed me. What? Nathan Oakley, 1980, at aol.com. Probably not watching this stream. I've put it in the chat. I think that's probably the vague answer I was looking for me to stick this out for the general consumption of anybody who is willing to debate, which is definitely not Jazzaconda. But if he is listening...
Maybe PMARS?
I will just make it clear one more time before we move into open debate, which is anybody free for all. Yeah, so were Jazz to have joined, he wouldn't be facing me. In other words, I would not be challenging him. Now, whether or not I hold true to my word, only time will tell in that regard. But that is my intention, to not be the debating, the type of debates that we have on the other side. I don't want to mention any specific names, but you can appreciate what I'm describing when I say people go on to what is supposed to be a moderated platform, and the person who is a moderator is biased towards the globe and can't help but interject, making it 2 or 3 on 1 if it starts off as 1 on 1 with a couple of moderators.
Right. Yeah. That does seem a bit more balanced, doesn't it?
So the link has now gone out on Skype, so hopefully we'll get a little panel. It's a bit early for a few people, but if you're in the chat and you have got me as a Skype contact, you can now join the show. I'll give that about 5 minutes, and then I'll stick the link out to the public.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Thanks, Nathan, for getting this going. I appreciate it. I'm at work at this time at night. Right here, it's 4:48 a.m. I'm usually at work still, but because I was feeling ill, stayed home today. I just got a new place. I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, I'm usually doing daddy duties at the moment. I am still doing daddy duties, actually, which is probably why I can hear me talking to my kids. Outside of our usual routine, so she's like, are you usually playing with me right about now? But that's okay.
I haven't talked to you in a while. Was there something else expected on the way?
Yeah, a couple of months' time.
Oh, congrats, dude, congrats. That's awesome.
Oh dear, yes.
Right on, bro.
Drink.
Right on, okay. Building an army, aren't you?
A little flat earth army of little girls.
Right. Oh, did you get an ultrasound? Do you already know what you're having?
Yeah, it's a little girl.
Oh, yeah, we did the ultrasound thing too.
And then it was
identical twin boys. We were like, what? Identical twin boys? No, really? Holy crap.
It was mainly because there would have been massive upheaval if it would have been a boy. I mean, everybody thinks that you always want a boy, right? If you've got a girl already, well, no. Not necessarily. Because I live in a very small apartment, flat to a Spritz. And if it was the case that it was a little boy, then a year or 2 down the line, they couldn't share a room. So I'd have to move house, which I don't want to do.
Honestly, though, I do think that is a mentality among at least a lot of women that I've met, is that, it'd be nice to have a boy and a girl, right? And it would, it is nice. I guess it's balanced, right? But, like my ex, after we had the twins, I'm sure she probably would have liked to have had a shot at having a girl, right? And I bet a lot of women feel that way, like they'd like to have one of both, right? And naturally, I think that's totally natural to feel that way.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
But I don't
financially, if I
care.
was
Like,
in...
I don't care either way, boy or girl. I'm loving them equally
Oh, of
as
course.
much, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
of
But, you know,
course.
if I was in a better financial place, then I'd be that person wanting a boy and a girl and calling it quits there, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I'm
that's
not.
what it came down to for us. It's not financially viable to have more than two for us. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't. So
That's it. You know, you're fiscally bound in terms of what you can and can't do. And, you know, my journey through life would be different if we were having a boy. That said, they say, what, 99% certain, because presumably it could still pop out with a little penis. You just don't know.
yeah,
You don't know
yeah,
till
yeah.
you know.
You don't know till you know, for sure.
Okay, so I have now published the link on Skype for any early birds. I'm going to be robbing Arwen's audience. Sorry, Arwen.
Oh, is Arwen live?
He will be at 1 o'clock. I've said to him many times in the past, look, if someone else is conflicting with your schedule, it means nothing.
Jess is still playing games in the chat. Nathan, let's get this thing going if we can, man.
That's okay. So if you are watching this in the live chat, I will publish the link momentarily. So if you want to join from the live stream, limited audience though it may be. Hey, Sleeping Warrior, how you doing?
We live?
We are live.
Not Monday, is it?
Anthony. How you doing, Anthony?
Hey, I'm confused. What's going on?
Do you want to fill Anthony in, or shall I?
Absolutely, I can fill in. So you know Jazzaconda.
Yes.
Yeah, he was just challenging ideas in the chat and saying that he has answers to the whole gas pressure next to a vacuum issue. And so
no,
I was
he doesn't.
calling him out on it.
He's an Australian drunk. He doesn't have answers for nothing, mate.
Oh, he doesn't have. I think he's trolling us, anyways. So
Yeah.
he said, "Let's debate. Let's be fine. We'll debate. Nathan offered his platform for us to do a debate off air, even like just closed. And he just keeps jerking around, right? He's just he's not joining. He makes excuses. He gives a fake email. He's just playing games, right?
Jazz doesn't have any answers for anything. He's just a drunken
already-
Australian.
Yeah. I debated him
Well-
before already once, and he was a clown. He's just
Yeah, I hear. What's that guy called? The guy I can never remember his flipping name. Craig McNeil. I hear Craig McNeil got porn bombed last night.
Craig
Yeah.
McNeil. I don't know who that is.
Fight the
It's
flat
the
Earth.
one that fight the flat Earth with no evidence.
So yeah, Ranty sent me a link. So he sends me this link, and I go in, and it's a chat for Flat Earth debate, Spurs Chemo versus Penfold. And I'm like, why have you sent me here? I don't watch this crap. Why have you sent me this link? And Ranty's like, the guy just got porn bombed. I was like, oh, right, okay.
Go for me for fight the flat Earth, eh?
Well, my reaction in the chat was to say, if you can't maintain a YouTube channel, I'll get that clear first. So a few people in his chat of the live stream that never happened were saying, oh, it's not his fault. So let's just get that out of the way first of all. If you run a YouTube channel, you, the person who runs the YouTube channel, are entirely responsible for what you put up on screen. There is no blaming somebody else. If you play pornography, you, the person who's broadcasting, then that is your fault, your responsibility. So Craig put pornography onto his channel. Now, if you're to argue the other side and say, no, somebody joined his show that he didn't want on there, and they played pornography. Wrong. That is not the case. What actually occurred is Craig lost control of his Hangout. Now, in the same way as a young teenage driver losing control of their car, that is not the car's fault. The car did lose control, but it's ultimately the driver losing control of the car. And that is precisely what has happened with Fight the Flat Earth and his YouTube channel. He lost control, which is what he needs to exert if he's to broadcast to the public, of his Hangout. That is his responsibility, his problem. The reason I'm pointing this out in such a vitriolic way is because this dick came to my comments to have a good laugh about the 19 bogus copyright strikes I had on my own material. Something that is absolutely beyond my control, totally unfair and unreasonable. Now, when Ranty told me about this, I said the same as I say always. It is not fair what has happened to Craig. It is not reasonable, and I do not like people doing this. I do not encourage it. It's not reasonable. Him losing control of his hangout is his problem and his responsibility. It doesn't mean that what people have done when they take control from someone else is fair or just or reasonable, even if the guy's a dick. Nobody deserves to have their hangouts hijacked. However, we, all of us on this panel right now, Jason, Sleeping Warrior, Musicians for Truth, if you use your YouTube names, Musicians for Truth and Sleeping Warrior are both acutely aware of this issue because we have been doing it and researched how to run a hangout properly. So we wouldn't lose control of our hangout to this glaring error, this, what's the word? It's not recklessness. It's carelessness. That's what it is. So, we wouldn't fall victim to the same thing. But I certainly wouldn't go and gloat about how delighted I am that he's had pornography played on his show by a troll who he gave the key to his hangout. So if you're going to give the keys to a broadcasting facility and then moan that it's not your fault, then you're an idiot. So this is their fault. In the same way, when I was doing it for the sun tracking and I did the same thing, knowing full well that somebody could potentially porn bomb me, I took measures to prevent it, but somebody still managed it with a trick, Tim Osman. So he pretended to be Cathexis, started with an edited video with a beach scene with sun setting, looking perfect. I put him on screen, and then it cut to pornography very quickly. My fault. Got it off screen, shut the show down, edited it out, and there was no issue. So we all suffer it, but I still took responsibility for what I broadcast on my hangout. That was me playing pornography. You live and learn. Even with measures in place to stop it happening, it can still happen. Far less likely now, but that's what you take on as a responsibility if you become a YouTuber and start live broadcasting. So, point being, don't gloat in my comments, Craig, about how delighted you are when I am the victim of fraud, only to go out and demonstrate your utter stupidity and failure to control your own bloody hangout. Anyway, that's all.
I would like to add that I would hope that real truth seekers and flat earthers out there would not go to these lengths, and that the big difference that I've always noticed that's made me even proud to be a flat earther, and I'll admit this any day, is that I would fight for Globers' rights to speak their mind and to say what they need to say, right? I would fight for their rights, but they would like to just shut us down, shut us up, and have us go away. And that is a profound difference I notice between us.
They don't all think like that. A lot of them do agree.
Most of them want to see us removed. They want to see us terminated, but so long as they terminate chop off our heads whilst having the right to speak our minds, then they're all right with that. They don't mind executing us. Yeah.
Well, there's a very small minority that actually, and Craig's one of these people, that actually want to see us quote unquote shut down. Now, forget my affiliation with Flat Earth and his affiliation with Globe. I primarily see myself as a YouTuber. A lot of this gets the backs of Flat Earthers up quite frequently because, you're just in it for the money. No. I'm here as a YouTuber, and my subject I am very passionate about. That doesn't change the fact that I've never denied wanting to be a successful YouTuber. I'm delighted at the moment. I'm made up. I'm on cloud 9 because I've got Jaren supporting me, Patricia supporting me, Red Pill Philosophy supporting me. I'm made up with my growth as a YouTuber because that's what makes me happy, right? Well, why am I growing as a YouTuber? Because I'm making my subject matter relevant to an audience. Great. I encourage all to do the same. And if Craig, Fight the Flat Earth, can encourage an audience based on his rhetoric, then that's more power to you, mate. Good for you as a YouTuber. I encourage it. When we were in a back and forth with Sean Hufford, I'm sure you'll remember this, Anthony, and you were saying go to his channel and make this comment more prevalent by thumbing up my comment. Do you remember? Gone.
No, I am here. I was just trying to read. Sorry, ask your question again. I was distracted by Canal.
There was a back and forth between you and Sean Hufford, and there was a particular issue that you drawn his attention to in the comments section of his video, and we were, you and I, directing people to Sean's video. Now, my attitude was, if you're going to go to Sean's video, number one, like, comment, share and subscribe his video, watch his advert, support him as a YouTuber, and then I went on to make the point again in terms of, he's evil, you know what I mean? In other words, after general courtesy amongst YouTubers, because I wish Sean every success in the same way as I wish every YouTuber success, I positively encouraged, and this is no word of a lie, Sly Sparkane to make his first video. He was a chat troll, and I said, make a video, make a video, make a video, stop being a chat troll. You've got, you know, he was very vocal in comments. And I said, make a video. And he did, eventually, and I applauded him for doing so. That's good. If all these chat trolls came out and made videos, it would push discussion more, instead of them just being chat trolls, which is what Jazzaconda has demonstrated admirably today with his cowardice. It's just a chat troll. He doesn't actually have anything to offer, but he makes it seem that way from the chat comments. Well, no, Jazz, I already knew you had nothing to offer, and now I'm no longer in the moderator position. I'll just say you've got nothing to offer. You've been on before. You were on the show that you were on, listening to Joshua reel off endless logical fallacies, one after the next. So, you know, you don't know that that's the case, even though he's on your own side. Not that I'd expect you to. But even with it being the case that you'd have a moderated show that you encouraged and wanted, you're not going to turn up. You know Jason will hand you your ass on a plate. He's already debated you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like at this point, my argument skills and logic and reasoning are sound enough to debate anybody. Like, I feel ready to debate anybody. And, you know, I would thank you guys for that, and everybody else over the years that's helped me get to this point. Morgile, Jaron, Bob, all the guys at Glowbusters, Mark Sargent, everybody who's helped get me to this point. I mean, it's been a journey. I certainly wasn't this sure, you know, 3, 4, or 5 years ago, and I really needed to go out into the world and test it for myself. That's what got me motivated, and I did do a test, and that's what got me here. And I still haven't had it explained to me exactly. And it wasn't as profoundly huge as some of these tests like you see Jay Toll and media doing, but I simply saw a boat at 30 miles across the ocean, a cargo ship. I live near the ocean, so I can do these tests at any time. And that's just hasn't been explained to me. What's the matter, cat? The cat's meowing. What do you want? So yeah, that's what got me here. And it's just, and logic and reason has helped build my, you know, ability to debate this better. So I'm grateful.
I totally echo that. I'm sure Anthony would too. You know, but for Jaron, Morgile, Globebusters, Eric DeBay, Mark Sargent, Patricia Steer, all these people, I wouldn't be sat here. You wouldn't be sat here. Certainly wouldn't have decent arguments.
Truth.
Yeah, I feel that 2019 moving forward will be a bit more united for people in Flat Earth. So, gone are the conspiratorial days. Gone are the... Well, Math Powerland's still saying I was first, but fair enough. Yeah, more power to... If that gets you more viewers and more people waking up to this truth, then fine. Personally, I don't think it's gonna do any good, and Math could do a lot more. But that's just my opinion. I've got a soft spot for Math Powerland.
Well, I mean, Math was the one who kind of woke both of us up, right? So
correct, yeah. So that's my personal bias. If it wasn't for Math Powerland, I probably would have never come to the subject in the first instance. He was the first person I saw that made me go, what? Really? No way. He's right. Amazing. But so I've got a soft spot for Math Powerland, and you know, I think it's tragic that people don't know who he is. But if all you can do is blart on about how you were first, that's not really productive.
Yeah, he does bring that up occasionally, but yeah, but he does talk about other stuff. Sometimes when he goes on rants, like his, you know, sometimes they're quite entertaining or they keep you riveted to your seat. He's a good talker. He has that ability, right, to just keep an audience kind of entranced sometimes. I mean, his guitar skills might be a little less to be desired, but still, he keeps trying. That's good. Kudos to him.
Yeah,
I offered to give him guitar lessons and he didn't answer me back, so fine.
I regularly watch Math Powerland still. I'm subscribed and I regularly watch his shows and tune in. I haven't watched any of his...
I'm friends with Katie. I get along with them, so yeah.
I was about to say I'm subscribed to Katie, but I haven't watched a single video that she's made. I know she's made a few yoga videos, and I keep meaning to put them under my wife's nose, but I just haven't. I don't get a chance to watch very much.
She talks about all sorts of stuff. Like she'll go out and talk about the chemtrails in the area that are hitting her area. Yeah, she talks about all sorts of stuff. Just like a typical flat earther all over the map, right?
Yeah. Like I say, she's they're a perfect yin and yang for each other. They've got good chemistry on screen as well. I really liked when they ripped off Mark and Patricia and did the Good Morning show, because I really enjoyed that show.
Was that a rip-off? I thought they were just ripping off like the typical news station morning radio show.
You having a laugh? It was a blatant rip-off of The Secret Show.
Is it?
Well, okay, but maybe you didn't spot that. That wasn't my main point. That wasn't my point. I don't want to slag him off for being a rip-off of The Secret Show. That's not my point. It was a good show. I really enjoyed the chemistry between him and his wife on that, what they called a breakfast show. For me, it was like 6 in the evening or something.
Yeah, me too. I watched it a bunch of times. It's good. It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. They had good. Well, obviously they've got good chemistry. They got married and had a kid, but you know what I mean. On-screen chemistry was really good, right. And I enjoyed that show. So, but more often than not, I'll tune in and it'll be him practicing guitar, and I'll scrub through it and go, does he rant in this one? Does he rant? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay. Same. I gotta admit it. I do the same thing.
Oh, here we go. 50 minutes in. A math rant. Excellent. Right. Let's kick back. What's that you say about chemtrails? Yeah, you're right. They are killing us all. I love it. A big dose of conspiratard nonsense sometimes is ace.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. You did preface this by saying that you're a bit more conspiratorial, so maybe I shouldn't. I'm probably offending you by saying these things.
I do draw a line between conspiratarded though and conspiracies, and I don't, it's pretty hard to deny that conspiracies, don't happen. How could you say conspiracies don't happen, right? Obviously conspiracies happen, but I know what you're saying is you're not into the Queen is a lizard and we're all being controlled by an ancient alien race, fucking crazy conspiracy, right? I'm thinking that's more what you mean, right? I'm not into that either. I don't like conspiratarded stuff, but I recognize the conspiracies that are going on in the world.
Is that Ranty?
Hiya, folks.
Oh, it's Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Why did you think of Ranty when you saw that picture?
I just saw the boat that was, because it's so small, it just looked like the Ranty picture. I know you've got that as your icon now. I should have remembered, but I've only seen it the once as your icon, Mark. But good to have you.
It's good to be here. Here we've got a Sleeping Warrior, and here's the guy playing the guitar, musician.
Dread. Hey, Ranty.
Yes, Synthetic Dread.
No, I'm not Ranty. I'm Mark.
It's Mark Doxy.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were Ranty. I wasn't looking at the screen.
It's my bad for doing a terrible job of hosting, Jason. So, Jason, Mark, Jason, Musicians for Truth / Synthetic Dread, Mark Doxy.
Hi, Jason.
Nice to
you okay?
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
We're on early, are we?
Well, I might as well explain it again, because it's an opportunity for me to plug what I'm hoping to do going forward. I did mention this when I was talking to Jaron on his show. So, going forward, I would like to offer people a platform. In other words, if you're in a comment section, Mark, and you were arguing away and someone was like, I'd debate you anytime, I'd hope going forward people will go, I can do that on Nathan's show. In other words, I will close down the show, which when this show started, it was completely closed, and I'd chased up Jazzaconda and Jason for their emails so I could respond to their email with a link. In other words, it's only going to be 2 people on the show, Jason and Jazzaconda, and they would argue the toss about whatever the hell they liked without my being part of the actual debate, i.e. moderating it. So in the same way as I did before I did Flat Earth Debate, you know, I'd hosted several debates and was the moderator. And as I was saying to Anthony earlier, in a lot of instances, I had to tell the Flat Earthers off more than the globe heads when it's controlled and one-to-one. You know, I don't know if it was that they were leaning on me because I'm biased, but I tried not to be, and I'd hope I could do that again. The point being that hopefully I'll get some emails saying, can I have your platform and your moderation to debate this globehead, or can I use your platform to debate this flat earther? And I'm a pretty stern moderator. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. So yeah.
And is it always flat earth subject?
Yeah. I wouldn't want creationist type debates and things of that nature. I'm just not interested.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Okay, let's get it going.
So yeah,
your icon is quite a lot like what turned me into a flat earther. A ship quite like that, 30 miles away through a telescope, using a boat tracking app to tell me exactly how far the boat was away from my position on the shoreline.
Yeah, it's a fascinating part.
You can see a boat at 30 miles.
Yeah, dude. A cargo ship. And my boat tracking app, which is free, you can download. There's dozens of them. I just took the telescope down to the ocean. First, I peered over to the mainland, which is 21 miles away, 270-ish feet of curvature. And I was seeing, you could see the ferries on the other side, parked on the other side. I could almost make out people walking their dog on the seawall, which is 5 or 10 feet above.
But back to the boat at 30 miles. You're saying you can see a cargo ship at 30 miles? Yes. Have you got any evidence?
Have you guys not seen that?
Have you got any what was your optical equipment you were using?
This is when I first was realizing this. I'd watched a few videos on YouTube and I was like, okay, I can't base my reality on a YouTube video. I'm not going to be one of those fools. So I went and tested the world myself. I got a hold of a telescope that I had to borrow from somebody. I didn't have a high-powered telescope. So I borrowed a telescope, took it down the ocean, and spent about almost 3 hours probably altogether down there just trying to make this work and see what I could see.
And where's the evidence of this?
Well, this is something that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to provide it as evidence right now. I was just saying that picture reminded me exactly of. I can do it again. I'll do it again for you, Anthony. Yeah, I honestly, this is 4.5 years ago. I didn't even have a YouTube channel. I didn't know any of you guys. I was fresh off the boat, right? I was fresh, man. And this is what made
I'm gonna respectfully call you on that, because I don't believe you can see a cargo ship from 30 miles away. I can only just about see Blackpool Tower. That's 518 feet tall, and a cargo ship's about 110, 115 feet tall.
Not even. Yep.
You ain't seeing no cargo ship from 30 miles away. You might see it from 10.
Can I pipe
20
up
would be pushing.
I reckon it's possible, depending on how big the cargo ship is. So how big were you talking?
Your typical cargo ship. I didn't get the dimensions of it. I should have. At the time, I wasn't thinking that. I just found a ship. First, I spotted a ship that I could visually, I could find in the telescope's viewfinder, right? So I located one. Then I looked on the app for that ship to designate which ship it was and to tell me how far away it was.
Okay.
I followed it for almost up to 2 hours, and by the time I was getting cold by the end, and it was getting kind of drawn out. And when I looked at the app, the apparent distance said 30 miles.
No way.
Okay, I could be wrong. The app could have been. I suppose I could have been. I read the information wrong.
Well, that's your task possible. No. You go and find a boat on that route that you saw it on, and then document it at 30 miles. I bet you it's not like that. It might be 15.
No,
it's not going to be 30 because it's too small at 30 miles.
It's not. I don't agree. So think about Morgul Lighthouse. So when it pops up on screen in a minute, I'll highlight the fact. But imagine how high that is off the ground, or off the deck, so off the sea. It's about 210 feet. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, how big is a cargo ship? I would imagine you could easily get in excess of 210 feet.
Well,
No
no,
way.
because 10 feet would be one story of a building, so you don't have a 20-story high cargo ship, right?
Yeah, you can have
So
those crates stacked up on them easily 20 high.
yeah,
No,
okay,
20. You get about 6 at the most, maybe 5.
Really?
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you got a penis thing going on here, Nathan. It's not as big as you think it is.
Okay, well, there was a picture of a lighthouse. Go back a couple of shots. There we go. Down one. Sorry, Mark. Got you on screen at the moment. No, not the hangout. Can you pop your pictures back on, Mark?
Yeah, no, I was guesstimating 80 to 100 feet tall, probably, but I don't know. I have a fucking
Maximum.
Then in that case, I've got to side with Anthony. Then no, it'll be too small.
Okay.
It'll be too small. The minute anyone says to me 30 miles away, right, I know how small Blackpool Tower is at 518 feet at 13 miles. I know it's absolutely tiny. It's like a pixel on the horizon, and that's 500 feet tall. And there's just no way you're going to see
and so I'm just curious, Anthony, what were you using? What are you using in that explanation to view it through? Like
a P900.
A P900, okay. I'm curious if a telescope and a P900 are much different.
Well, I have a telescope. And the hardest thing with the telescope I find is to focus it right.
Oh, in any event, that's what took me so long.
Sorry, that changes things. So you were doing this with a telescope?
Yes.
Oh, I think you could then.
Nah. You see the picture I've just got up of a
cruise ship? Celestian telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be proven wrong here, Anthony.
18 stories high.
I automatically assumed that the maximum you could have had back then was a P900. It had just come out, right, about 4 years ago.
This is why I couldn't really film it, right? And I wasn't even thinking about filming. At the time, my world was upside down. I was trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I would like to do it again. Maybe I could do it again. Maybe I could borrow that telescope. I don't really want to buy a $2,000 or $3,000 telescope for one experiment or one of these cameras. Like, I was thinking about the P1000. I could, but then what am I going to do after I do 2 or 3 observations with this freaking camera? I can't film music videos with it. So
yeah. You're right, but you're not going to get a cargo ship at 30 miles, mate.
That's what the data said to me. I'd have to. You're right. I can't back it up with any proof right now because I didn't record it, so I can't say anything. I'll have to do it again. I'll try and do it again once. I'll wait for the spring.
Well, now's a good time to consider doing it because the weather on good days in winter or early spring, this is the best clarity because the temperature of the water, the temperature.
Because I'm coastal, it's just rain and cloud all the time here. But you're, of course, right, the heat and the refractive, coming off the water surface. So for sure.
And the lack
when
of
I first did
evaporation.
it was chilly.
The main thing is the lack of evaporation. It's the evaporation that's the biggest issue for the bending of light.
Right. Luckily, when I was there that time, it was quite cold. I remember it's just freaking freezing, but it was clear as clear can be. So it seemed like a valid test, but yeah, maybe I need to repeat it.
Definitely, because it'd be interesting to see exactly how far it was. Because, I agree with you that ships are not doing what they should be doing on a sphere, but I don't agree with you that you can see a boat at 30 miles away. Too far. It's too small. It's not big enough.
Even with a telescope, aren't they?
Even with a telescope, 30 miles is a gargantuan distance. It's, like I say, I can compare it to my own experience where Blackpool Tower is like a pinprick on the horizon. And when I zoom into it and zoom into it and zoom into it, I can just about make it if I squint my eyes and then zoom in more with the computer. And that's like 4 times taller. I realized
I just made a mistake. I might have said miles instead of kilometers. I don't know if that makes a big difference in your calculations.
Well, yeah, it will be down to about 20 miles.
Yeah, sorry, I fucked up. I meant to say kilometers.
That's more doable.
Yeah, sorry about that. My bad. Fudge.
Well, that's definitely practical then. That's 18 miles, so that's a lot like Ranty's Barrow Inverness.
Yeah, sorry. I'm stupid. I apologize. My bad. Ugh. I meant to say kilometers. Yeah, that's why. Okay, yeah, now I get it. Okay.
Doesn't change
So
the
I guess
outcome.
this hangout was. I guess
Again?
this hangout was just set up for the debate that didn't happen with Jazz Conda, the drunken fish.
Correct. Well, it's just turned into a
Yeah,
regular flat Earth debate, so I've shared the link with the public. Not that any members of the public have joined us yet, but we are pretty early. So it might be the case that we get somebody coming in. I'll round this show out in about 10 minutes, and then I'll start a normal flat Earth debate straight after.
I will say this now that I've corrected. After 18 kilometers, it got so hard to try and focus in on it.
Yep.
18 miles, I mean. It got
why-
so hard to focus on it that I and it was so cold I had to give up. Maybe you could go further than that. Maybe you could get to 20.
That's
Maybe
why
you could get to 20.
That's why you need to have manual focus and lock it at manual focus so that it's not searching for something that's so small that it can't distinguish between the horizon and the atmosphere, and it's looking for something that's not it is there, but it's very small and very specific, and you need it to look in that one place, not be searching for something that's not actually there. I've told Ranty about this loads of times, and he still doesn't do it. I'm sure he's deliberately.
Yeah, but on a moving target, how does that work? Does it follow the moving ship?
No, you
have to still readjust the telescope.
No. You just set it up to distant zoom, distant focus, and leave it there, and your boat will stay in focus. And if it doesn't, it's like one turn of the wheel. It's like click, and then it's back in focus again.
But like side to side, you gotta move. You gotta like move it and stuff. Like I had to follow this ship right? I wasn't directly behind it, so it was kind of like, going.
Yeah, it doesn't
up
matter.
and off.
Your fixed focus is based on what you're seeing rather than following something. Like honestly, fixed focus is the way forward. Find a boat on the horizon, zoom in on it, focus in on it, and then change it to manual once you get it controlled. And then the further away it goes, you'll see that the manual focus keeps locked to what that last setting was. Obviously, as the boat gets smaller and smaller because it's falling behind the curvature of the Earth, it starts getting too small for the camera to realize that's what it's supposed to be focusing on.
Okay. Has anybody put a UV lens on a telescope yet? I haven't seen that.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Or infrared, not UV. Not UV. Infrared.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, but no, not that I've seen.
No, me neither. I wonder if that could be done.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick, unblock me so I can block you.
Say again.
Shout out to Ute, who says in chat, Nick, unblock me so I can block you.
Have you guys ever heard Ute talk? I've never actually met him or heard him. I've just talked with him in chat for years now.
Yes, I believe so. I can't remember who, but somebody obscure, correct me if this is wrong from the chat, Ute, had just a little clip of him talking. I can't remember what the subject was. It was profound, whatever he was saying. But yeah, I do believe I have heard Ute speak. Could be wrong. I talked with Dale Croy on Free Chan once. No, I don't think that was what was played. No, maybe I haven't then. But apparently he's been on and spoken to Dale Croy. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, he's a real person.
No, that's good. No, I'm not. I assumed he's a real person. I just haven't had the chance to talk to him yet, and I feel like I've known him for years almost, right? Chatting with him for so long.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you is the best chat participant there is in this section of the internet, i.e., Flat Earth. What would you agree?
It might be a toss up between him and Ace McLeod. Right?
He's a little bit dodgy, Ace McLeod. Refracted cat out.
Man, he's dodgy. Well, I joined him live a couple of years ago. We did a live hangout, and he did DMT live while we were on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny.
Awesome.
That was very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good shit. They're both good.
I think it was Dave Weiss that shared that with me. He was like, "You've got to see this."
Yeah, it was a riot. Yeah, we got some real legends out there, that's for sure. Great.
But I don't agree though. I don't think Ace is a legend on screen, so you can't really count him. He's not. He doesn't compare to Ute. Yeah, he's in the chat, but you know, I wouldn't put me in the same category as Ute. Do you know what I mean? But Ute, is in a particular category.
Ute always provides like really hardcore science in his chat, right? In his text. So I respect what he does, and yeah, Ace just brings the cool. It's funny.
He's also pretty protective of flat Earth, so I will read his comment that he's just put in because it typifies this. So he did in quotes, he did DMT live, end quote, and that's just one of the reasons I think he's a troll, making flat Earth look silly. The very level-headed opinions and attitudes, generally speaking, from Ute.
So this is live right now? I'm not getting the live feed on YouTube.
Yeah, this is live, just on a really small channel.
Thought I was subscribed to all your channels. How many do you have?
They're all old. It's not like I've set up any new channels. So
I've
my channels, as it stands, I've got 3. That's what I've always declared as having. But there is 2 other channels that I can get access to. One is just my wife's, so I'm not going to be using that one. The other is an old business account that we used about 10 years ago. So that account has been repurposed just to do live streams from. So it's an old legacy account. But the 3 main ones are Oakley Cord, which is my oldest account and smallest, Nathan Oakley, which is the second channel, and then Nathan Oakley 1980. This channel that it's going out live on now is a temporary measure that will stop working in about 8 days' time. So I haven't promoted it. I never wanted to promote it. It's not going to be a used channel unless something absolutely disastrous as it was over Christmas happens again. And you know, while that might happen, I might end up utilising the 4th channel, but realistically, I've got 3 channels, and Oakley Cord usually served as the backup for the backup. So
I've got the 2. I've got Nathan Oakley 1980 and the other one.
Those are the 2 main ones. I mean, Oakley Cord was used like this channel is being used now. So like the Flat Earth Debate channel is being used, I would use Oakley Cord as the place to actually set up the Hangout. So the streaming wouldn't necessarily get done from there, although it would in the worst case scenario if I'd got, you know, whatever copyright, community guidelines, whatever problems with the other channels, then it might go out on Oakley Cord. But ultimately it's only those 2 that you really need to be subscribed to. So Nathan Oakley and Nathan Oakley 1980 are the main ones.
I think it's a brilliant idea to capture people in the chats that are willing to debate, and then offering up like your channel, your services to give them a platform. I think it's freaking brilliant because you can really, take the wind out of their sails, right? You know, see if they're full of crap or not, and that's just great. That's brilliant because 9 times out of 10, I'm always calling a lot of these guys out. Let's debate. Let's do this. Let's go right now. I'll jump on Oakley's show if you want to jump on. Let's go. And they never do. It's always just talk. So when you bring it to the forefront like this and put the heat on them, put their feet to the fire, it's great. I love it. Love it.
I will. You keep giving me these nice segues, so I will use it again to say that this is the hopefully first, albeit a failed opportunity because of the opponent, Jazzaconda, but hopefully the first of a few where people, whichever side you may sit on the argument, will say, I want a platform to debate somebody with the moderator. In other words, it's not a free-for-all, it's a formal debate. Now, it may be that you want a particular format, and again, that was the case with a couple of the ones I did before hosting the actual Flat Earth debate itself. Now, those shows had specific guests that wanted a specific format, and in one instance, it was debated about pre-show, long before the pre-show, and into the show itself, about the formatting and the rules. And I was more than happy to do that. In other words, if there's two people that say, well, I want it in this format and these would be the rules, I'd be like, yeah, as long as I understand them and can enforce them, I'm more than happy to learn them and implicate them. So if people want a one-to-one platform to do a debate against a globehead or a flat earther, if you're on the other side of the fence, I'm more than willing to, at a drop of a hat, as it was the case today, set up a show.
Yes.
It took me 5 minutes. I gave out my email address to Jazz and to Jason. Jason joined, Jazz didn't. Well, he's a coward, and we can declare him as so. This will be labelled as such. In other words, I will label this with a Flat Earth debate number. I think it'll be 708, maybe 709, I forget. Either way, but I'll also title it and tag it as in Musicians for Truth versus Jazzaconda. And the fact that he's not turned up on the show, that he has definitely, you know, those chats don't go away. So today's debate on Nathan Oakley channel, the old repeat from way back when. Did you hit your head? Come here. The one from way back when has still got him on there. And if he just says, well, I'm just baiting you. It's like, well, you're not a chat troll, Jazz. You're a person. You've been on the show. You can come on. You know how to do it. If you just turned into a chat troll, well, okay, take that demotion, my friend. We'll laugh at you. You become a chat troll. Okay, Jazz. No worries. Coward.
The problem with Jazz, though, the problem with Jazz is he had to. The only way he can interact with the show is to be a chat troll, because he can't join because he's always drunk, and it's just
really he's always drunk.
Yeah, always. Jazz is always drunk.
Oh wow,
he's a nice guy, I'm sure, when he's not drunk, but I think he just thinks, oh, let's get drunk, and oh look, Nathan's on. Let's get drunk and join the panel, and let's talk shit for the next 20 minutes, and then I get kicked. That seems to be his bedtime medicine. Join Nathan's whilst drunk and make a dick of himself.
Wow. Yeah, I used to do the same with Poncho Pizza. He'd come over to Poncho Pizza if Nathan wasn't around, right, or online live, and come harass us over there. And I finally got him on the show and debated him and just schooled him. I just worked him on, basically social mechanisms, social programming techniques that are going on, and how subliminal messages have gotten more advanced, and blah blah blah. And he's pardon?
What part of the world are you from?
I live on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island.
I was gonna say he sounds like Nummy Num, doesn't he?
I sound like Nummy Num. Oh, really? That guy's voice? That's awesome.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, my voice is meant for singing, I guess, not talking, I guess. I don't know. No, it's all good. Yeah, Nathan, Nummy Num's pretty cool. I like Nummy Num.
Nathan, yeah, he's got this thing, though, that bugs me. He calls everything a concept, right? I had a massive disagreement with him because he said that a tree was a concept. And I'm like, it's a concrete noun, so it's not a concept. He said, well, it is. He said, think about the tree in the bottom of your garden. I said, I haven't got one. He said, right, well, put a tree in the bottom of your garden then. I was like, right. He said, you've just made a concept. I'm like, no. Right, okay, so what you're saying is anytime you have a thought of any kind, that becomes a concept. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, right, but we can make things real world by going out and touching them, and that doesn't make it a concept, right? Trees are not concepts.
Yes, the tree existed outside of our concept of it. Therefore, it is reality, right?
I see. So it's a misunderstanding between a concept and conceptualization.
Possibly.
Perhaps.
You can conceptualize a tree that does not exist. That does not make a tree a concept.
Right.
You can conceptualize anything. So you can conceptualize real things where they do not exist, and therefore it becomes a concept of a tree. But that does not make a tree, a concrete noun, a concept.
It's pretty funny. This is how they live in an imaginary world that's spinning and flying and corkscrewing through a vast, endless cosmos.
Well, Nummy's going through that tunnel, so he's definitely not a globehead. He's not dumb, but he's relinquishing and gaining and going through that journey at the moment. Maybe you'd say otherwise,
true.
But
that's right. He is a flat earther, right?
Yeah,
something.
Quite a good opportunity for me to say that if you are watching this on either the Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, get the terminology right. So yeah, if you're watching it on Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980, stay tuned as there will be a short after show. But if you're watching this live, a massive, huge, enormous thank you for tuning in and hopefully sharing Jazzaconda's total failure and cowardice when it comes to calling out people for a debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!